Welcome to the Making of Me podcast, where we explore the stories and experience and challenges that shape us into who we have become. Today guests believe that pressure isn't the enemy; it's the forge. Michael Dugan is the author of the Snowflake into Diamond and the creator of Becoming Diamond framework, with over 20,000 hours as a professional trainer in high pressure corporate environment. Michael teaches people how to stay calm, confident, and powerful in world being rapidly transformed by AI, automation, constant change. It's really a pleasure to have you on the show, Michael.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
Yeah, thank you. So, Michael, what were some of the experience and challenges that shape you into who you have become today?
Gosh, there's been so many. I think the first one was that when I was young, I smoked marijuana when I was 13 years old. And the first time I smoked it, I got caught by the principal of the school. And then I smoked it all through junior high school and all through high school. So I put very little effort into high school. And I barely graduated. I barely graduated. My mom was crying and saying, my first kid, you better graduate. And I did, but on the last day of school, when I was a senior, senior skip day, where the seniors were all at a party, I had to stay in school because if I skipped, I was going to fail. And then I think that moment was actually a good moment because I felt this depression after school was out. And I felt like, I think I felt like I really didn't live it. I really didn't experience it. And then my father turned me on to motivational speakers when I was 18 years old. One was called Norman Vincent Peale,
Yeah,
man who had written the book called The Power of Positive Thinking.
yeah,
And then back then they had the Est and Insight. And I started proving out principles. There's a guy back then named Og Mandino that had written a book called The Greatest Salesman in the Person and University of Success. And he would say something like, do this for 90 days. And I would do it. Or there's a simple phrase I learned as a young man, always go the extra mile. And so when I was a young man, I went to work early and the boss noticed that I was early. And I stayed late and the boss noticed that I stayed late. And I stayed engaged all day long and the boss noticed that I was engaged. And so that taught me about contrast, how when you're a more valuable employee, people will keep you. So when you're always going the extra mile, a lot of people are doing just the minimum. They're taking the path of least resistance. That was a lesson I learned as a very young man. And then I overcompensated. So because I think I felt insecure because I put so little effort into school, that I made a decision to be a lifelong learner, and I made a decision to master my emotions, and I made a decision to take care of my body, take care of the vehicle. And those three decisions I've been practicing for a long time. So that I think that was a pretty good challenge when I was in high school and junior high school and put so little effort into it, smoking marijuana.
yeah. Amazing, amazing. A whole lot of events, and I'm so glad that with the aid of this particular book, The Power of Positive Thinking, and the other books you make reference of, it actually changed you greatly and you're able to realize it's really amazing. Yeah, lovely hearing the stories. What is the most common mental pattern you see today?
Yeah. For me, it's I think that emotional regulation is the most important skill for a human being to learn today. I think that what happens is most people are addicted to their emotions, and most people don't even know that they're addicted to emotions. So somebody might get angry every day and they're addicted to being angry. Or somebody might be addicted to being a victim every day. Say they're demonizing the government. So every day they demonize the government and it gives them a hit. Hormones make emotions. Hormones make feelings. So we get addicted to hormones and we don't even know that we're addicted to them. And what happens is they have an effect on our perspective, they have an effect on our vibration and our frequency. So most human beings are regulated by the environment. They're not emotionally regulated. Most human beings, when something happens outside of them, they get angry. When something happens outside of them, they get jealous. Or something happens outside of them, they're happy. But when you start becoming a diamond, the name of the book is Turning Snowflakes into Diamonds. A diamond is a super conscious human being, a human being that can regulate their emotions from the inside out. They're an emotional badass. So I've been working on mastering my emotions for a long time. And I've done a lot of different learnings or a lot of different teachings, and I know what works for me, and then I share it with people. Just because it works for me doesn't mean it will work for you. I think it will work for you, but it might not work for you. But it definitely works for me. So these patterns I've been practicing. So I practice what I preach. And so I've learned a lot of skills that have helped me to regulate my emotions at a higher level than most people that have not had the opportunity to learn these lessons.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. Thank you so much. And I think it really like keeping that emotional intelligence is very key, and understanding what it means and everything influence a part of your life. And what you just said just make it speak volumes. And yeah, it's really, really amazing being that from your stories, it changed your whole of perspective. And it actually more like help you to stand to your feet and being able to kind of do what you do today. Yeah, amazing. So what is the Diamond operating system, and why is it especially relevant in the AI?
Yeah, thank you for asking. The Diamond operating system is something that I designed, that I just alluded to, for a human being to rewire themselves. Not only can we rewire our brain, but we can rewire our body. And there's multiple ways of rewiring it. So the book Turning Snowflakes into Diamonds gives those ways to do it. And when I was working on my whiteboard when we came up, it came up differently than it ever had before. It was bigger, but I wanted to, in case I wanted to show you a thing or two. But when you talk about neuroscience says that 90 to 95% of our thoughts are the same thoughts day after day after day after day. Kind of like imagine that you and I were flying in a helicopter and the helicopter went down and we're in the jungle. So you and I, we need to survive. So we make a pathway and we find water and then we find food and then we build a shelter. Pretty soon we have a pathway in the jungle and we stay on the pathway because it's safe. Because we don't know what kind of insects are out there. We don't know what kind of reptiles are out there. We don't know what kind of animals are out there. We don't know if there's any people that live on the land that want to take us out. So we stay on the path because it's safe. And the path is called the path of least resistance. So the ego's primary job is to keep us alive. So the ego wants to keep us alive. And so every morning our ego jumps on that same path as in the jungle. It jumps on the path of least resistance. Now, if I was to start crying, a tear would come out of my eye. So TEAR is an acronym for thoughts create emotions, and emotions create actions, and actions create results. So if 90 to 95% of my thoughts are the same, probably 90 to 95% of my emotions are the same, probably 90 to 95% of my actions are the same, probably 90 to 95% of my results are the same. And so what happens is people become automated and they want to do the same thing over and over because it feels safe. So a lot of people have a problem with letting go of the past or letting go of things because the human brain wants certainty because certainty means safety. So when you go to work every day, most people will go to this work the exact same way because they think it's the fastest way. It's the most efficient. So that brings them certainty. Or when you go to your favorite restaurant, we're going to go ahead and go to our favorite restaurant because it's going to bring us certainty. And then we're going to eat that one food at that restaurant because it brings us certainty. So what happens is the familiar makes us feel safe. Certainty makes us feel safe. So when the brain thinks the same thoughts, it feels safe. When the brain has the same emotions, it feels safe. It brings it certainty. When the body takes the same actions, it feels safe, certainty. But we get the same results. We're not going to get any new results. We're not going to be able to reinvent ourselves. Now, this is another saying, life will keep on giving you lessons until you learn them. And if you don't learn them, life will keep on giving you the same lesson until you do learn it. So some people recreate the same relationship problems or the same money problems or the same health problems or the same work social problems or the same family problem until they repeat it so many times. Same problem, same problem, same problem, same problem. Wait a minute. The only thing that's the same in these problems is me. Maybe I'm the problem. I'm the problem. So then when they recognize that I'm the problem, they can do something. But until you recognize that you're the problem, you can't do anything because you're a victim. You're always blaming everything outside of you for why I'm me. This is why I'm me. This is why I can't do anything. Justification, rationalization, blaming. So now I'm officially a victim. And so most people don't change without pain. Pain is the great persuader. Pain makes us change. So when I talk about the title of Turning Snowflakes into Diamonds, the book that I wrote,
Yeah.
Turning Snowflakes into Diamonds, there's a famous saying that good times makes weak people. So when everybody has a super life, good life, like it be in America, I'm soft. I haven't seen a bad day in my life. I might think I'm a badass. Am I really? Put me out in the middle of the woods and let's see how you do, Dugan. Put you in a war zone in Iran. See how you do, Dugan. So I might think I'm a badass, but you don't know until you're there. You don't know until you're there. So good times makes weak people, and weak people make bad times. But bad times makes diamonds, and diamonds make good times. So right now, at this time on the planet Earth, this is time for diamonds, for the snowflakes, the people that are soft, to morph into diamonds, to become super conscious human beings that are high level of contribution, high level of consciousness, high level of coherence to help the planet Earth at this time.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much for sharing, especially when you make reference of life will keep putting the same problem to you until you learn and change. And it really lays big volumes, mean that, yeah, you actually have to change. Or else you keep going through a particular cycles every now and then. And also when it comes to mastering emotion, and I think what you just said really speak volumes. Yeah, it's weak people that actually more like that actually more like yeah, make everything actually more like goes weak compared to those who are strong. They actually more like get to better, stronger persons. Yeah, this is really amazing. And thank you so much. So, what role do body, breath, and brain play in staying unshakable?
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I call it the Swiss Army knife. So Switzerland, the Swiss Army was basically, they created a knife called the Swiss Army knife. And it was designed to be adaptable. So they had a knife that was multifunctional so they could use it in all situations. A corkscrew, if you need to pull a cork off, you got a blade here. You have another blade here. You have basically a toothpick here. You have a tweezers on the other side. You have a file. You have a little scissors. You have a can opener. So the body, breath, and brain, they each start with a B. So they're each blades. So I call the body is a Swiss Army knife. And we have the body, the breath, and the brain. And these are all tools that we can use to emotionally regulate. And so I can go ahead, whenever I pay attention to my breath, like we breathe automatically. You don't have to make yourself breathe, Arrow. You can breathe on your own, right? But then all of a sudden, if you make yourself breathe, now breathe in and out once on your own. And that was your consciousness that controls your breath. So when we breathe automatically, we're unconscious. But whenever we regulate our breath, we're conscious. What controlled your body language? That was your consciousness. When you sit upright and you give me a smile. Yeah.
All right, so if someone is listening today and they feel overwhelmed or uncertain about the future, what is one diamond tools they could use immediately?
Yeah, thank you. Well, what I think is that you have to have purpose. Like if you don't have purpose, you're not going to have enthusiasm. And a lot of times there's a study with rats and it's talking about hope. Like if you have two human beings in a survival situation and one has hope and the other one doesn't, the person with hope will live longer.
Yeah.
And then they did a study with rats and they put a rat into a container of water. And when they put the rat in the container of water, treaded water for 15 minutes until it gave up and drowned. And then they did it again. They put the rat in the water and they treaded water for 5 minutes and then they pulled it out and gave it some food. And they put it back in the water. And when I asked people how long did the second rat tread water for, people might say an hour, 10 minutes more, 60 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, because it had hope. And sometimes young people might not have hope. They might think that the earth is so screwed up and they might not think that they make a difference. And then I love this quote. Imagine there's a meteor coming down at the planet Earth right now. You and I can see it. And when I go out in my backyard and I plant a tree, so it could be the last day on the planet Earth and I'll still plant a tree. Because it's not over till it's over.
Yeah.
It's having hope. It's having that warrior spirit, that warrior spirit, that knowing, giving yourself permission to be great, giving yourself permission to be exponential,
Yeah.
giving yourself permission to know, not believe, to know that you matter, to know that you make a difference. And that's what's going to make a diamond a diamond. Simply giving yourself permission to make a difference, giving yourself permission to know that you absolutely make a difference, you absolutely matter, never give up hope, and do that. The enthusiasm keeps you alive. With enthusiasm and zest. When you're enthusiastic, you're loving your life. If you're
Yeah.
not enthusiastic, you're not loving your life. So when you have a purpose, it gives you a reason to love your life. And that's what some people need right now, is a reason to love their life. But they're caught into old patterns of thinking, and these old patterns of thinking keep them in their old perspectives.
Thank you so much, Michael. It has really been an amazing, discussion. Being that hope could actually change a whole lot when it comes to the outlook of life. When you have hope, everything become meaningful. You can be able to persist in the change you desire. Actually, more like coming to being. Yeah, amazing. So, Michael, from our audience who want to reach out to you, who want to learn more from you, and those who want to do business with you, how can they reach out to you, and where is the best platform?
Yeah, thank you so much for asking. And they could reach out to me on Michael Dugan or Michael Timothy Dugan on YouTube, or Turning Snowflakes into Diamonds on YouTube, or on TikTok, Turning Snowflakes into Diamonds, or Instagram, Turning Snowflakes into Diamonds, or Facebook, Turning Snowflakes into Diamonds, or Michael Dugan on Facebook. And they can also reach out to me on, if they wanted to buy the book on Amazon, they could get it on Amazon. They could also go to becomingdiamonds.com and they get the Diamond Manifesto or 30-day free course, where they just go in and log in and give their email. It'll give them a course, a 3-minute course each day, taking them through some of the concepts in the book. And it will also, they could get the book on Audible or Apple. So there's a lot of ways to get out there. My job is to serve, my job is to give. And if I could help a human being in any way, that would be my absolute joy.
Thank you for this conversation. This conversation reminds us that a world accelerating with AI and automation, our greatest advantage is still humans, our present, our emotion, mastery, and our ability to choose who we become under pressure. To everyone listening, pressure is not proof that you are breaking. It may be a proof that you are being. This has been the Making of Me podcast. Thank you. Once again, the pleasure to have you on the show, Michael.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you.